Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. Here we are again. This week I have the luxury of speaking with Seth Robinson from an amazing band called Nowhere Fast out of Louisville, Kentucky. So they had a lot to live up to for me out of Louisville bands, considering one of my favorite bands of all times out of Louisville. But Seth, welcome to the show. How you doing today, man?
I'm good.
So why don't you explain, because I don't want to be the asshole genre labeling a band. Why don't you tell me where you fall in to let listeners know like what genre you would consider yourself?
Oh man, that's like always a tough question. So some of us definitely come from, the DIY scene for sure. Like punk rock and hardcore, but we also, indie rock and some post stuff. We're kind of a mix. Like two of us are definitely from the DIY scene, and Rafa is definitely from that, but he's all over the board also. And then Jim Bob is the key player. He is just pretty much more indie and pop. He's always kind of bouncing that scene. And Rob and I we're the ones that grew up, playing the basements and the VFW halls and all that stuff. And
where great music comes from. I always say great music starts in the basement and VFW hall.
Oh, we still did. Like right before the pandemic, we did our first basement show in years, and because the club show fell through, and we found these kids hosted us in a basement in Kansas City, and we were just stoked. we were the older guys there, but it was fine.
Hey, it doesn't matter. You were seasoned. You're not older. You're seasoned.
We're very seasoned.
Sometimes a little too much, but
I mean, to answer the question, like it's we usually just say rock and roll. And we know that's a vast, like it's a large spectrum of music, but just indie, really.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I know it's hard to label yourself. I mean, a big thing that people throw around nowadays is the alt rock, which I'm totally fine with, but it's funny that
we've got an alternative for sure.
Yeah, like people have, used to hide from that label of alt rock, and now it's like coming back to where people are well, it's alt rock. And I'm like, wow, it's crazy that it's making this thing again, that people are okay with saying it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad about it. Got a bunch of buddies who were playing. They still play like a bunch of post punk and heavy music, but like I know a few of them that some of them are drumming or playing guitar. They've all started like power pop bands and stuff. That's coming back real big. I'm a big power pop guy, so I was like,
I'm a huge power pop. That's
insane. I mean, I'm glad everything does come back around. I'm just glad that this is coming back around, and I feel like a lot of the festivals that are happening right now are just bringing a lot of stuff back.
Yeah,
especially for some seasoned bands.
Well, what I think it is, and I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but in my entirety of my life, in my 45 years on this earth, is that I don't think any music's ever like really gone away when it like say it comes back. It's just people weren't listening to it. Like people were still creating it. It just didn't have like, I guess, a fan base to push it anymore. Like it was weird. Because people jump from, and as you get older, music changes, but I mean, I know where my love lies when it comes to music, and I find things that remind me of it. It's kind of how I found you guys, like diving through Bandcamp as I do 5 hours a day, and I hear Magnanimous, You Are Not, and I was stopped dead in my tracks, and I was just like,
oh wow,
fucking A. I was like, thank God. Like, and that's the feeling I have when I hear something that I love. I'm like, thank God. And it's almost like that, how you said, like it went, like it's gone and it's making a comeback, but it was like, I haven't heard something like this in such a long time.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with everything you just said. We've seen, I've been touring off and on for a long time, and I've seen just so many, which is, it's good and sometimes bad, but like I've seen just scenes come and go, like genres come and go, or like we've seen the changes throughout the years in touring. It's just, oh, this is the hot thing at the moment, and then it'll die out. But in 10 years, it's going to be back, and those bands are going to be doing reunion shows or, playing records front to back, which I mean, we'll be actually next year, we will be doing the Trials album front to back because it'll be
10 years.
10 years. Yeah. And that record was a big learning curve for us. It's the first record we did that I was like proud of.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, it shines through when you listen to something, and I even think what your last release, Anon, or however it's pronounced, Eon, it like all of a sudden you matured and that power pop came through. So it was awesome that I found something that I loved, and then it matured to another sound that I love, and I was like, all right, now that was it for me. And that's when I was like, all right, I'm eventually got to reach out to these guys because they've hooked onto something that I'm all in on. So thank you for doing that for me.
Thank you for listening. That's very kind of you to say. We appreciate it. I mean, we obviously do it for ourselves, but we also love it when people get it. Obviously, it's part of why it's part of the art. You want what you're feeling or what you're doing to connect to somebody else. And it feels really good.
It's what a song, when you write a song, it's a part of yourself and it's a part of your soul. And, you've thought about it and you've put so much work into it that it's hard not to come through, on a recording or great recording to hear like, all right, it's one of those things where you connect yourself to it. And I'm like, these guys get me,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I totally get that. I've tons of bands like that. I actually just drove earlier this year when things were opening back up a little bit. I went face mask and everything all the way up to Bloomington, Indiana to see the Lemonheads because I didn't know that they were even doing a tour until last minute. And I was like, hey, I'm going to Bloomington because I'd never seen Lemonheads, and I was like, it's a bucket list for me.
Yeah.
So.
No, they're fucking awesome. Evan Dando is just one of those guys that, I mean, I was lucky to see, at my age, I was lucky to see the Lemonheads at their height. And then I was able to just That's awesome. See, Evan Dando do his own thing in a room of 50 people in Jersey City. Like, it's just been like an awesome thing to see someone so talented and like just that sound. It's again, and he created something that it's hard to find that sound again.
It is. And you talk about like just the growth of from records to records, what the Lemonheads became is, that's what I fell in love with, obviously, was It's a Shame About Ray and Come On, and all the way up, all the way to the 2006 self-titled that they did with a legendary rhythm section he had on that record, which was Carl and Bill from Descendants. Yeah. And it was done at Blasting Room. Yeah. It's just amazing.
So why don't you give me a little backstory about how Nowhere Fast came about?
Just being young punks, trying to learn how to, like, a lot of we're pretty much self-taught. We've done lessons like here and there just on our own, but just a bunch of guys. We've had some lineup changes, obviously, through the years, and just typical wanting to learn how, like, I'm obsessed with music. I've always been obsessed with music, and it's that one thing in my life that I can't shake and I don't want to shake. Like you digging through Bandcamp for 5 hours. I do that now, and I did it then, even before Bandcamp. I would, like the days of record stores, you would go and just dig.
Yeah.
And look for things. And
I still spend hours in my local record store.
Same. We have a few good ones in the city, and it's great. Obviously vinyl's made a big pushback, but back then it was like digging through CDs.
I'm staring at a wall of them right now.
Yes. But no, we just started as kids wanting to do something, or young kids just trying to. I wanted to know if I could write songs, and wanted to know if I could play with other people. And so I found some people to play with and wrote some songs and recorded a record, which, was canned a long time ago because it wasn't very good, but it was, you got to start somewhere
Yeah.
record.
Yep.
And, just love of music. That's where we started. And people being around at the right moment at that time.
Yeah, and I mean, so when it comes to music, I mean, it usually starts at a moment in your life, and for me, it was my first musical memory. Like when I first heard music for the first time, and it
Yeah.
was something completely different. I remember who it was, where I was. I mean, they're still one of my favorite bands, and it's weird when I tell people it, but it's like, do you remember that moment when you first heard music for the first time? It was no longer, a cartoon theme song or Disney song.
Yeah. And I kind of split this into two categories. So, um,
There are
this
two
is
categories. There's when you
yeah,
first hear
this is
music, and then when you first hear your music that you
your music.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the music that I first connected to was, was lucky with my mom, dad, and brother. My brother was, all about the, Iron Maiden and
So it was mine. I love Iron Maiden.
yeah, that's one of the first bands. Like I was like, holy crap, what the fuck is this? Like, it's amazing.
Heavy
And
metal rock
then,
operas is what I usually tell people. Is that
oh my god, yeah, just like straight amazing power metal, or yeah,
yeah.
it's so good. And the show they put on,
Yeah.
And then, as he was bringing in all that stuff, my dad would play a lot of, which is still to my heart, and I mean to my heart, like a lot of just I'm obsessed with like '60s R&B and soul.
Mm-hmm.
My dad would play a lot of that and bluegrass and like '50s pop, like at the hop and
Listen, I know that's what my mom and dad listen to, and that's what I still make summer playlists at the beach to listen to that stuff.
yeah, I mean that's what we fell in love with the Ramones for, because they just sped all that shit up, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, I remember seeing the Sedated video, and I was just like, oh, this is cool. And I remember seeing the Clash video, like a few of theirs. I was just like, okay, this is cool. But yeah, I think between the outlaw country, the bluegrass, and the R&B and the Maiden, those like I'm gonna say that Otis Redding and Sam Cooke were the first artists that like they showed me that I just would try and sing to.
Yeah.
Like automatically, I would be in the car with my parents, and I would just try and sing like this,
like two of the greatest vocalists of all time.
Yeah, I know. Like this little kid trying to do like this, like just amazing. Like I'm like, yeah, this is not working, but it's still to my heart. Like just I try to capture soul. Like when I'm writing, like I get a little OCD, obviously writing songs as most of us do, but it's definitely something with the feeling that the even like '60s and '70s R&B and soul just taught me. Like just I could not. I still listen to it to this day. Like I mean, just like full on. Like that's just like even the newer artists, like Leon Bridges and stuff. Yeah, like love them. Black Pumas.
Yeah.
Like they're all so good. I mean, and I'm glad that genre is still there. But my first band that I love, like on my own, that really spoke to me, and I can thank MTV for it. And we just covered one of their songs for Fair Fight was REM.
Yeah.
I remember seeing REM videos, and I thought that it was just like, especially the '80s REM. It was like the video aesthetic, the messages, the music alone, obviously, and then it just spoke to me. And wasn't the punks and the metalheads as a little kid were not too generous to it. But I was like, hey, I like Ramones and Clash, and my brother brought home Black Flag, and like that sent me to Descendants and stuff. But the first band I listened to that really got me was it's kind of a tie. It's REM and Replacements, because I was seeing both those videos, and both those bands were totally speaking to me. And I just read the Replacements biography
Mm-hmm.
of Trouble
Yeah.
Boys, and I didn't realize this is, I should have realized, but I didn't realize that they were friends at some point and that they were kind of coming up at the same time, and like REM and Replacements and Husker Du were just all like in this battle to be the next thing.
Yep.
But which Replacements could have been, but uh, those beautiful, beautiful people had their own way of doing it.
Well, yeah, it's hard to have, so much genius in a group and for it to stay together and work out. Like it really,
Oh yeah,
it's really hard. And it's funny that like REM, you're the second one in the past like 5 episodes that REM was like your thing. And, I'm not going to rehash it. Like I just never got it. And,
oh, my brother never did.
yeah, like I understand why people like it, but I just, for some reason, it just never. And don't get me wrong,
that's
like
fair.
I
That's totally fair.
I saw them live. Was invited to the show, second row, friend playing guitar at the time for him, traveling, and I saw a live show. And after it was over, I was like, okay, yeah, fucking REM is amazing. And then I got home and I tried to listen to the records and stuff. And I was like, yeah, no, I guess I'll go see them live, like, cause they fucking blew me away. But it was just something, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just can't, I don't know if I'm missing something, if I'm not hearing something correctly. I just don't know what it is. And I feel bad because they're huge and people love them. But at the end of the day, I'm like, well, enough people like them. They don't need me to. So,
yeah. Well, and you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, and like you're a music lover. I mean, there's bands that people love, and I'm just like, I can't. Of course, I'm blanking when I try to think of one, but there's just, there's bands that people just adore, and I'm like, I get it, but it's not for me.
Yeah. And I'll put the work in too. Like I sat down and like I listened to every song. I travel a lot, so as I'm driving, I'm like, all right, this is my REM trip. I have 12 hours till I'm at my next spot. I'm going to listen from first song to last song, REM only. And like,
I respect that.
I force myself. And then I'm like, all right, yeah, I dug a couple of them, and the rest, I'm like, yeah, no, unfortunately it didn't work. But
I totally respect that. Like, cause I do the same thing. And sometimes a band just doesn't do it for you.
Yeah.
I mean, what was your first band like that you got on your own?
The first band that I got on my own was probably, it was either the Posies or Face to Face.
Oh my God. So you just mentioned, it's so weird. After rehearsals last night, my bass player, Rob, he goes, I've been listening to the Posies a lot. He's like, have you ever listened to him? I was like, dude, Frosting on a Fucking Beater is a very underrated record and probably one of the best records ever made.
Yep.
And people don't know it. And he goes, okay, so you do know them. I was like, yeah, I love the Posies.
Yeah, so that's how I got to see REM. Ken Stringfellow was playing guitar for him, and it was his birthday and invited to the show. So we drove down to Atlantic City or whatever to see the show, a couple of us, and it was like that's how I like was forcing myself, because I'm like, well, Ken's plays with them, so I gotta figure out, since the Posies are, I literally have 1 and 2 of favorite bands, and then 3 through 4,852 of my favorite bands, like always change after that. But
yeah,
the Posies are for power pop. Like, I mean, you go, and I'm a Dear 23 guy for them. Like,
dude, it's so good.
Yeah,
no, yeah, I'm sorry. I just went to Frosting.
No, but it because it's an amazing album. Like every song, it's an unskippable album, as I put it,
front to back. Yeah, front to back.
But
and Face to Face, you're speaking to my heart.
Yeah, so. And so those were literally like my first 2 like pickups of like, so Dear 23 and Face to Face's Don't Turn Away. I think I got in the same day at Mr. Muck's CD store, like, and that was, I came home and it was like the first 2 things that I found. I was like, I don't know what these are, and this looks cool. And then I listened to it, and still to this day, they're 2 of my favorites ever, like 1 and 2. And I don't know who to put 1 and 2, but those were the first 2. Like I found my music, and
that's awesome.
It brought me to punk, and I did the deep dive there, and then power pop put me in the big power pop with the Posies. So those were my 2 first things that I found. The first thing I ever heard though was the Beach Boys, which makes a lot of sense for pop. So
love the Beach Boys. Yeah, I go back like one of the first bands, which are still one of my favorite bands. I just didn't want to. It's basic, but like I'm a big Beatles guy.
Yeah.
And Stones guy, and I grew up with my uncle. I used to try and back him up before I could even. He taught me a few chords, and I would just sit there and try and back him up on Beatles songs at like 11. And I was just like, probably sounding terrible, but he just let me do it anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the Beatles. But I know that we're doing nowhere, but like, so you're a big Face to Face guy.
Yeah, huge.
So the first time, and I mean, I'm not a fair weather Face to Face guy. Like I love everything they've done, everything. But like, so like that first time you heard them, it's just, you can't, it's such a hard.
So I was just thinking about it and got goosebumps again, remembering the first time I heard it.
Yeah. That's what, like, so you said that, like, I got all giddy inside because I'm like, oh my God, that feeling.
Yeah.
That feeling of Trevor's lyrics and vocals and that just bashing that they do, like, just, God, they're so good.
Yeah. So what's funny is, I was in Alabama for Furnace Fest in September and went to this after party.
Nice.
Trevor Keith's there with his wife, and like just being able to talk to him and tell him. And I told him, I go, listen, you're on my Mount Rushmore of writers. Yeah. And he's like, I've never heard that before. I go, well, now you just did. I go, because I got to tell you. It's like, well, who else is on there? I go, Tom Petty, John Auer, and Ken Stringfellow. I'm like, that's like, he's like, holy shit. I'm like, yeah, but because that's how much it meant to me. And his lyrics are like, I don't think he gets enough credit for the stuff he writes.
I don't think he does either. And I am a huge like Petty and Heartbreakers fan. Wilburys, all of it, every bit of it, like influence hands down. But Face to Face is right there with them.
Yeah, it was a different kind of punk. Like it really was. I thought it stood on its own from punk music.
It was Bad Religion without the and I love Bad Religion. No disrespect, I love the knowledge that Greg puts out, but it was the wisdom of Bad Religion, but just with everyday life. And it was to me, Trevor just puts it in, even on the last record, he still does it. He puts it in such a powerful way. And I know Scott plays a big part in that. Yeah. It's just a sophisticated way of saying, hey, shit can suck. Things could be good, but you got to power through. And I'm going to say it in this very poetic, sophisticated way. And you're going to get it. And you're going to be like, yeah, I get it. Thanks, man. That's what your records do for me, I mean, and, and I love that they have been able to still just put out bangers and that they still kind of do what the fuck they want to do, no matter what the fans say.
No, that's what I love about it, because he just does what he wants to do, and it's awesome. Like when he did his solo album, oh my God, I love
Melancholic
Anonymous.
Yeah, it's
a tongue twister. But when he did that, like I was just like I heard that and it blew me away, because I was just ready for just a face-to-face version of just Trevor Keith doing an album, and it wasn't. And I was just like, fuck, this guy is just, why don't I meet people and say, hey dude, Trevor Keith or Face to Face? And they were like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, that's a shame. Like, it's a shame.
Yeah. I played that for Tiff and a while back, and she loves Face to Face, and she never knew about the solo record, and it was more up her alley for what she would probably gravitate to anyway.
Yeah. Well, I took my wife to a Face to Face show, and then when Trevor was doing solo, we went to see that, and she was like, yeah, this is so much better for me. I'm like, yeah, no, I know, but I get it, but I love both of them equally. So
same. I mean, that was the first time I got to see any Ignorance is Bliss played live, was on that solo tour.
Which is a shame how much shit fans give that album.
Yeah, that's one of the best records ever made.
Yeah.
And the only thing that record got shit for is because of punk rock being an oxymoron and wanting a band to just stay, if they wanted to stay putting out records like the Ramones or the Queers or Screeching, and no offense to any of them, I love what they do too. It's great. But Face to Face just wasn't that band.
Yeah.
And a lot of bands aren't. And bands, like, to me, with bands that I love, I want you to grow. I want to see what else you got in you, because I don't want you to get bored. And I feel like if let's say Ignorance is Bliss didn't come out in 99 and it came out like, I don't know, 5 years later, it would have been huge.
Yeah.
It would have been huge.
No, I agree.
Just
I completely agree.
Somebody's got to be that. Somebody's got to be like that godfather of that. You know what I mean? Or like that predecessor. Like, like just somebody's going to, I mean, bands did follow that record, but it just didn't catch on until like 5 years after the time.
Yeah. And listen, don't get me wrong. I was an asshole Face to Face as well. I mean, after Big Choice and then the self-titled comes out, I remember rushing to Best Buy. I was in Georgia at the time when I was stationed down there in the military. And I think I've told this story before, but I rush out to get it, put the CD in my truck, driving back to base. I'd take the CD out and throw it on I-95.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
And I was like, no, nope. And I was just like, that's not my Face to Face. And then, a couple years later, I go back to that album and I'm like, all right, so I was an asshole. I apologize. It was my money. I was allowed to do what I wanted.
No, you're right. You're totally right. I mean, I did, I didn't finish, but when I was in college, I did a report on Lost, and I did a report on a Strung Out song. And just because, with lyrical content.
Yeah. Strung Out is amazing lyrically, that people need to listen to the lyrics. That I know it's really fast for a lot of people to hear, but they're so amazing.
Yeah. Strung Out's like, what was it? Our bass player Rob has no tattoos except one, and it's the Element. That's like all he's got, and it's real tiny. It's on his wrist. But I remember we first met, and I was like, "Yeah, I like that." He goes, "Oh, you like them?" I was like, "Yeah, man, fuck yeah, I do." Like, love them. But yeah, sorry, I got Face to Face, Tom Petty, REM, all that stuff is just Beatles. I'm all over the board, but Face to Face was definitely a band that. To wrap up the Face to Face thing, all right. So when I got into them and Superchunk at the same time, and Superchunk is also one of my favorite bands ever, and it was on a Trans World Skate video, and I remember pausing the tape and reading all the credits through the scenes for the songs that it played to find Face to Face and Superchunk. And what was cool on the skate video is it went Face to Face and then Superchunk. They were like back to back for scenes. And I was just like, okay, this is the best part of this video. And I really think it's the best part of this video because of these bands. Who are these bands?
Two different sounding, like very differently sounding too, depending on what songs that were in that video.
Yeah, it was Face to Face one was God, what was the single off the self-titled? Not Blind, but it was a single that didn't garner a lot of traction. The World, what is it? Why am I blanking on that? Where's my phone? Anyway,
it wasn't the Mortal Kombat soundtrack version of.
No. It was a Trans World Skate video. It's like the fast paced, like fat, like sounds more Fat Records than anything out of the self-titled. It's got World in the title. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
And then Superchunks was Driveway to Driveway.
Okay.
So. But yeah, that sent me down the wormhole. And, outside of Ignorance, man, Reactionary is a great album.
Reactionary is fantastic. One of my favorite things that they did was what made me love Ignorance is Bliss and understand it a lot more was when they did the standards and practices, the cover, like of all the stuff they loved. Like that made me just be like, yeah, so this is what Ignorance is Bliss is. They're covering some of their favorite songs of all time, and a lot of them were new wave, and I was like, now I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, same. I mean, but I think one of the off that EP, man, like one of their best songs ever was "Question Still
Yeah.
Remains." That song's killer. Um, yeah, cool. I could talk this stuff all day long.
That's why you're here. But I do like, because I can actually make that bridge with you, because honestly, eh, from when I first heard, Trials, that was more of a, I fucking don't want to label it, but it's that post-hardcore emo pop punk. Like it falls under so many categories. And then I don't want to fucking butcher the name again, but yeah.
Eonian.
I don't know why you made it so hard on me.
I don't know. I've thought that so many times when people like mention that album title.
But that got very power poppy for me. So I literally, like, you gave me, a face-to-face album, and then you gave me a Posies album behind it, and it's like, it's awesome.
Oh, that's very kind. Thank you. Wow. That's wow. Yeah,
Now,
I'll take that.
was that just like, was that just things changing in your life? Was that maturity and going on to a different way of looking at writing songs?
Yeah, there's a few things. I mean, there's a lot of time between Trials and Eonian. Although we had started writing for Eonian a few years, like Trials was a very dark time for a lot of us, and that's why I think it came out as like just in your face and as angry,
Yeah,
as it
unapologetic.
did. Very unapologetic, and no regrets in doing it. And yeah, by the time we got to Eonian, like we had talked about like focusing more on the hooks and um, growing as songwriters, and I wanted to um, try and push my voice a little more and do some things differently. And not, I never want to be pigeonholed.
Yeah.
I never want to. I'm not saying like we still won't do those style songs. Obviously, I could have done Lifer very different on Eonian, and it would have matched well with Trials. But we also recorded both those records with Nick Diener from the Swellers, and he was he's been a blessing in the years too. Although we're not recording with him this record, but we're you got to switch it up.
Yeah.
But on Eonian, when he was hearing the songs and the demos, he was like, "How do you feel about slowing these BPMs down?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah, let's try it." We were all in agreement with it, and we did, and it really let those songs breathe. And for what we were trying to do, which was focus on the hooks and the melody more instead of just the aggro, it panned itself out. It paved the way for it to be what it was. And I'm proud of Eonian. It was another learning curve and experience, which I like. I like the challenges. And, we just pretty much took what we did with Trials and slowed it down. and, which is, it's not super slow record by any means, but it's just,
it's more that typical rock and roll that, like, I don't want anyone for me to compare you to something, but it's like getting that Tom Petty, that rock and roll album. Like, it's just, here it is. It's these are the songs, and they're the way they are because that's the way they are. And you're going to appreciate it for the rock and roll I'm giving you.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah. I mean, Trials is the anger of everything, and Eonian was the after time, and everything's, you got a little bit clearer head of what you're saying. And you had some other things come in life, like by the time we were doing Eonian, I was a dad.
Yeah.
And I had a whole new perspective on things.
Well, it's evolving, and that's the maturity, the maturation process in a band when things change. And I think what happens to bands too, because I've seen it, is when some of them mature faster than others to their creation of what their music style is going to be. It's hard for people to hang on to stuff because you're at a different level, because you've had different experiences already. And that's where a lot of songwriting comes from, experiences.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, uh, just like the experiences now, like we're in the studio recording a new record, but over the pandemic, we've written almost 2 LPs worth. And that's even with the songs thrown out that we weren't keeping, that are just going into like this little demo, like maybe we'll touch
Yeah.
later on or maybe not. Um, but, um, we haven't been on the road in 2 years. We've tried to get some shows, and then COVID comes back and the shows get canceled, and now we're rebooking some more shows. And we're in the studio trying to get this new record, and this new record's full of more experiences,
Yeah.
um, which I think is the beauty in music. I think it's, that's part of the catharsis. Is I personally, I don't plan on being like some huge rock star. Am I still going to get in a van and go tour and play shows? Yes. Am I still going to come home and, kiss my kids and get up and kiss them off to school? Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to filter all that into my art, and also the sad experiences that have happened over the last, few years. And I'm not really good at writing like the happy stuff. Like I try. Like,
Well, I think it's hard because for people to write the happy stuff, and this has been my experience, is you kind of want to keep the happy stuff to yourself because it's something for you to look back on. But when you write about the sad stuff and the bad experiences, it's kind of, you already said it's cathartic. It's that release and just like trying to get rid of it.
yeah. You feel like when you finish that record and you sing that last line and it's going off to mixing, you're like, okay, there's that baggage.
Yeah.
I can leave it on this record now.
Yep.
And every time I play a song off of it, I mean, it's like when we still play Trials, I still go back. Like, I'm not dwelling on it. I don't care about it. I've moved on from it. But like, you do go back to like that fury that you just felt at that time, because, I was a mess at that time. There were some other guys in the band that were messes at that time. We were just, falling apart, still trying to do it.
Yeah.
And then by the time we did Aeonian, it was, okay, we got this. We know we want to do this, and we will do it the best we can with a new light. But once we finished Aeonian, I was like, okay, that's a wrap on that chapter. Now it's time to go. It's move on. And we've been doing that with these new songs.
Yeah, but you bring up the awesome point that I tried to get people to truly understand what music is. It's that it's the closest thing we have to a time machine. When you play that song, it brings you back to that exact moment of when you wrote it or you heard it recorded for the first time. Like it literally, that's what music can do. There's nothing else in my life that can really do that besides hearing a song and literally going back and seeing 1992 in the back of somebody's fucking Pontiac,
Yeah.
Sunfire, drinking a fucking glass Snapple bottle or a Mountain Dew glass bottle and just driving with the wind coming into the windows. Like that's
yeah.
what it does. It's so amazing in that way. That hearing a song that can bring you back somewhere, I wouldn't change it for anything.
No, I wouldn't either. I mean, it's like when I hear a Heartbreaker song, depending on which record or which era, I can tell you where I was, what I was doing, what my life was like, how old I was, what was going on in my life. And I wouldn't want to take any of that away.
So growing up listening to music with your family and your brother and your dad and mom, what got you into wanting to pursue music or actually even picking up an instrument and be a musician?
Picking up the instrument was my Uncle Morris. He was a good dude. But he could play literally any song, and he was really good at it. And seeing that in a living room at my grandmother's house where he lived was just mind blowing to me. And then, I'd go home and I'd watch these bands on TV and being like, oh shit, that's what you can do with like other people and solo. And then, at that point, by the time I was in like 7th and 8th grade, I was going to like punk rock shows, hardcore shows, and just loving it. And I just continued to play and try and learn. Like, I mean, I was taught guitar chords at 11, but I probably didn't get serious with it until I was like 16 or 17. like really trying to craft songs. But I think between my Uncle Morris and the punk scene, that's where it came from.
What was the first show you ever saw?
Ooh, first local show?
Well, first concert.
Oh, Charlie Daniels band, man. My dad took me. I was a little kid. My sister and I were so young, but my dad was like really into like outlaw country and all that stuff for a while. So
It makes sense. What was the first show you got to pick?
I went to a place that was called The Machine, and I saw a band called Evergreen, and I think Concrete played that show. You know, we're talking 90s right now.
Yep. I know Evergreen.
And Endpoint, those bands were very influential to me also. Then Falling Forward came along and just changed fucking everything for me.
Well, yeah, and that's what I said at the beginning of the show when I said, you had a lot to live up to with me for a Louisville band. I've always been searching for, something along the lines to come out of that area. I mean, Elliot's False Cathedrals is one of my I just put it on and just leave me alone. I go far, far away somewhere else.
Elliot is, God, I miss that band. Did you hear the band that Higdon did a few years back called Frontiers?
Yeah.
That band's killer too.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we all want Elliot, but
yeah.
I mean, when they moved into Elliot, there's still like, I still got my Falling Forward vinyls and stuff. And
so do I. My 7-inch.
I go back to like just watching Higdon sing with the passion and just it was mesmerizing. It was absolutely just amazing. By the time Elliot came along, you're like, this is the band that you were totally meant to do.
Yeah. Someone had asked me, and it was a funny question, and I think it's a fantastic question. I said, if you could be a part of any band that wasn't your own, what band would it be? And everybody like in the circle was like, oh man, the Beatles, Zeppelin. And I said Elliot, and everybody's like, what? I'm like, Elliot. I'm like, I saw them perform live so many times, and they did it for me. Like, I was like, that's what I think rock stars should be. Like, there was all passion through everyone on the stage. And what sucked for me the last time I saw them was like the 2 shows later, they were done.
Yeah, I mean, them ending was just it's just sad. Still sad about it. No reunion shows or anything, Like, but that's just kind of who they, I feel like that's what that band was. Like, this is it. That chapter's over. Move on. Some bands are like that.
Yeah, and that's fine. It's their right.
I don't know. I'd have to split that question up into like sections.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was funny. It just came right out of my mouth. I was like, Elliot. I'm like, what? I was like, no, that's it. They're like, but I'm like, no, but that's it. That's my answer. Let's go on to another question.
I mean, I'd be a total fool and I'd probably say like Heartbreakers, or something like that. But if I had to go on the scene, that's like, man, I'd love to be a part of Get Up Kids or Jimmy Eat World or something like that.
Yeah.
It'd be sick. Descendants. Can I just be a part of like a lot of them?
Yeah. How about a different day, a different band?
7 days a week. I'm just going to be in these iconic bands now.
And when you started playing music and you started finding people to play music with, I mean, if you were 16, was there like a talent show that you ever got together and did with some friends when you started a band?
Yeah, I mean, Nowhere didn't come until I was like 20. And when I was a teen and doing bands, I had to get over like, self-esteem and nervousness. And, I didn't even know I could really sing. I wanted to sing. And I wanted to play guitar, which I already was. But I also wanted to be like, when you're a teen, your mind's just racing all over the place. And you're like, why am I not, fucking shredding like the Stones, man? Like, well, you're 16, man. Like, come on. and then you hear bands like strung out and you're like, oh my God, okay. Songwriting. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to be a songwriter. Yeah, I just, I dove in and did the basement shows and the living room shows and the garage shows and everything that kids do.
Yeah.
And went to, our local DIY venues and VFW Hall. I got to see Avail a whole lot, and, just all of us kids that were just being influenced by it, And
what was the name of your first band?
Oh God, dude.
You got to tell me.
never played a show. The name is so stupid. Second Nature.
Okay.
Sounds more like a hip hop band, but
it does sound like a hip hop band.
Yeah.
Maybe you missed your calling just because you went with the wrong name.
Maybe so. And I've had some short bands live outside of nowhere. We were just trying to do on the side. Like a few years back, I was playing in a band called Trails on the side, which is more of just like a local band, just to kill time when Nowhere was on like a down, like, just chilling.
Yeah.
And good God, I'm trying to think of the last band I was in outside of Nowhere, because it was just a few years ago and I don't remember the name. We did play a few shows too. That's what's real sad.
Yeah. God, your mind just said a time in your life to forget about. Like, was it that bad?
No, the band was good. Hero Squad. That's what it was. All right. It was in a band with homies and some people that I'd known for a long time that I was friends with, but and they had all come out of some other bands that I really loved. But the front man, because it was just a band I was just playing guitar and doing backings in. Mm-hmm. And I kind of just like already sing in a band and all that stuff and play guitar. I was like, I just want to play guitar and do some backings and, try and get the voicings of these chords they want. But
yeah,
we were all hyped, but the front guy, he just like his other bands, just, I don't know, just got weird and dramatic. And I'm too old for that shit. You know what I mean? Like, no offense to him.
Yeah.
So you obviously have a thing with bands that you're in and why they end and why they change names a million times. And I'm like, man, we've only done a few shows and we have like 7 songs. And like, he's like, well, I just want to do this. And, he's like, I think I'm going to do it with them. And I'm like, okay, peace. I'm going to go make a Nowhere record.
Yeah.
Like, this was just for fun for me, man. And it just didn't become fun. It became like, okay, why is this one day a week practice like a headache?
I mean, that's what happens. And like, I look at some bands that I absolutely love, and like same front guy, just different band names over and over again. And it's just like, all right, so I think we can figure out who the dick is here.
Right. I would tell you the Nowhere lineup changes over the years are just typical rock and roll stuff.
Yeah.
Drugs, marriage, death, all that stuff.
Yeah. So. Well, now, if you were to meet a complete stranger on the street and start talking to him about music and you told him you were in a band, what song of yours would you play for them?
I would be the worst, because all the songs I love to play is not, I have to like sneak them in the set list just so we can play them. Because we love them, but they just didn't take. I guess I would tell them probably right now, Haunted or Dark Towns, because people gravitate to those songs, or Letter from New Haven, because that song, and Magnanimous. Those are probably the 4 songs I hear the most about. People just love them. And
are those your favorite songs that you've released? What's your favorite song that you've released so far?
Sorry.
I know it's hard to pick. I call it pick your favorite child, but I know it's hard.
I have a few, because I would say like Haunted is one. I really love how that song turned out. But I also love Steel Frame, off of Trials. That song is just absolutely fun to play. And I love how it's aggro, but it's so tight, Yeah. It'd be one of those 2 songs. We do have a song coming out on the new record called Modern Archaic that I am really proud of. And we wrote it actually right before we went into the studio. It was just one of those songs that just kind of came like within a week's time.
Yeah.
And sorry,
those are usually the best.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, you know, it's coming to you. It's not stopping. It's not something, you know, because I do like some songs that are challenges to finish, but I am definitely all for the song, because like Dark Towns was the same way. Like Haunted I love, but I slaved over Haunted. Dark Towns I wrote in, you know, 4 days or something like that, like all of it. And you know, the same thing with Modern Archaic. Really, it just kind of came about, you know. And the thing with Dark Towns and the thing with the Letter from New Haven, and those were almost throwaways. They almost didn't make the record. It was the band telling me like, you're fucking crazy if you don't put these songs on here, you know, because I was like, oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's hard. It's that self-reflection, you know, kind of what you're doing here. But like just being like, no, they're okay. And, you know, having the other band members be like, dude, you're fucking stupid if you don't put this on here. Yes. Sometimes that's why you have a band. You know, if you're left to your own devices, it could go very wrong very fast.
Yeah. And I am in nowhere. I am not, I know that the guys look at me for things, but we are a democratic, like their ideas count and their ideas enter the songs. And I like to just bring a structure, some melody, and maybe a few leads most of the time, and we'll work it out from there, even if the structure changes. You know, I just like to bring in like that bass, because I think 4 minds working together is better than 1 or 2. Yeah. You know, I don't like that, you know, unless you are Paul and John, then, you know, it's, you know, all minds work well together. And I like that. I like that openness in the room, and I like being productive, and the guys like being productive, and it's really cool.
No one else is waiting on someone. You know what I mean? Like everyone's in it for the same thing, which is hard to find a lot of times with a band too.
Super hard to find. I mean, it's not like we came out doing it. We've definitely made our share of mistakes over the years, and I have as a band member over the years. You live and learn. But you know, that's a hard question, man. I know I gave you like 5 songs. Like,
no, listen, man.
Still Frame would be like, I love that song. Yeah. And it's an old song. Yeah.
Listen, but it means something to you. So that's why.
Yeah, you're right. Totally right.
Now, on a totally different subject, because things have been crazy and there haven't been a lot of live shows going on, and people haven't been able to get out and play. So this may be hard for you to figure out or answer, but have you ever played a show somewhere where when you were done and you got off the stage, like you were just like, that's the best it's ever been, or maybe could ever be? Have you ever had that moment yet where you're just like, whatever just happened right there on stage, I wish we could bottle and do it every time?
Yeah, actually, I remember, I think it was like right before the pandemic, we were finishing up the touring for Eonian, and because we like to do kind of like a 2-year cycle, and it was at a decent, you know, like a kind of a small show, but it was like 50 kids, and we were in New Hampshire, and we had ended with Haunted. And Haunted's like one of those songs, like it sounds easy, but you kind of have to play it, and it's kind of like the Heartbreakers thing. It's that you got to be in the groove. Mm-hmm. And I just blacked out towards the end. I think the whole band did, because we got off the stage, and I just remember somebody going, the way we hit the end of that song was fucking unreal. And I was like, yeah, I don't even remember playing the solo, like, you know, like to out the song. And I'm going to say that's one of those moments because it was, God, who said that? I think it was Benmont Tench from the Heartbreakers. He's like, when you black out on stage or in recording and you come to and you're done and people are like, yo, it's great. That's good. And I'm like, yeah, it's good. It's almost like sorcery. I don't know how to explain it. It's weird. It's like, you know, unlocking that part of feeling. I think it's one of those things that, like, you know, for people that don't actually play in bands but like love music, that's the only way to explain it. Or that don't even love music. Like, why do you still do this? You know, like, or whatever. Like, well, I don't know if I can explain this feeling to you, you know. It's, you know, I'll do this at my local VFW all day.
Yeah.
That's one of the moments. I think one of the other moments would be we got to open up for Tim Barry and the Bouncing Souls. And I never thought that would happen. And we've opened and been lucky enough to play with a lot of great bands in our time. But that show was surreal. I couldn't even believe like we were like just on that bill. It was insane. It was just insane.
That's awesome.
And Tim Barry, as always, is just like the nicest guy in the world.
Very nice. When was that? Was that when they were torn together in 2018?
Yeah, it was in 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I only said that because I looked right behind me and looked at the poster from Tim Barry and the Bouncing Souls.
Yeah.
on my wall.
Yeah. That was a surreal show.
Was that like, so I know you've opened for a bunch of people, you've played with a bunch of people have opened for you. Was Tim Barry or Bouncing Souls, was that one show, or was there another show where you just watched the people perform that you had just, you know, been performing with or performing before you that said, wow, they're fucking unreal?
I mean, that was one of them. I mean, I'm a fan of both those artists. And I think the other one would be, we were so young, but we did get to open for Strung Out years ago. And, you know, of course, I got there early just to watch their sound check because that band's unreal live. But I think bands I watch, so I also book a bunch of bands in Louisville, like touring around at a place called Mag Bar.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some newer bands coming up that are kind of bringing things back around that are just great. A band out of Lexington called The Dreaded Laramie. I'll watch their set anytime. There's a couple bands from here. There's one called Drying Out and another one called Eastwood. And they're a younger generation, but they're just bringing back what you and I have been talking about. And like that part of this, because like Louisville's like pretty steeped in metal and indie and post stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like when this genre kind of comes back in, I like to see that from the youth also.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And it really still makes Louisville pretty eclectic. And I have no problems with the other. I love the other genres that I labeled. These bands that I just named, like it hasn't been in this town for a while, you know. It's because we usually play with our friends when we play at home. You know, just make it fun. But yeah, those are some bands that I watch constantly. We're actually going to be playing with Eastwood and Dreaded Laramie here in the coming months.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Got to help the ones carrying the torch, you know.
Well, I mean, that's it, paying it forward, you know, like
always.
That's to have that. I mean, because I've seen bands that would just like look at the new ones coming up and just be like, you know, fuck them. We already did that, but to pay it forward, that's awesome.
Oh yeah. I mean, always. I mean, you have to. You can't, you don't, I've seen people lose that. It's like one of the saddest things in the world.
Yeah. Now, I'll phrase this question best I can. Is it, and I think I probably know the answer, but is there a band that has just like never let you down? And I know it's different than I usually like to say favorite band. Like favorite band is like a Rolling Stone question, but a band that's just never let you down anytime you've gone to them.
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
All right.
Every one of them. I mean, I have a list: Get Up Kids, Jimmy Eat World, Face to Face. But yeah, man, every time, you know, like I remember when he passed, and I was in my kitchen, and I shed a tear because like he was like, I grew up with this guy.
Yeah.
And
well, he watched over you.
Yeah.
You know,
like all of us.
Yeah.
My wife walks in the kitchen and she goes, "Are you crying?" And I go, "Fuck yeah, I'm crying."
What are you, heartless?
I don't think she expected it. I just don't think she expected it.
Yeah, I think my wife just shed a tear with Betty White. So
what a Betty White was amazing. It's a good person to shed a tear over.
Yeah. Trying to think the last like famous person I shed a tear over. I forget.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
Yeah. It happens so often that it's
been a ton.
Yeah. It's what happens. You get older and the people above you just start going away, fading away.
Oh, I know.
But that's what's great about music. And this is, I've had, friends who are musicians who are no longer here. And, what I've always said is that they don't go anywhere because they left their footprint and there's something to hear from them, and they're always going to be here. The first recording ever made is still around.
I know. It's so cool.
Like it's an amazing thing. And it's, doing the show too. It's like, and no matter what, some point someone wants to hear fucking opinionated asshole that once knew me talk about music, they can just go find the recording.
That's very true. It's very true. I love
the opinionated asshole part or the recording.
No, the recording. No, we're all opinionated assholes at some point. No, but like you're right. I love the fact that with recordings, like last week, I just my taste last week was just like, the old blues artists, like Depression era blues, like name them, and I was listening to them, and I love the fact that I can go listen to like these 30s and 40s recordings of just one track, one mic, like brilliant songs. And Tom Petty's gone. I can put on any of his records. He left a catalog. You're right. The recording is here, and no matter how long they've been gone, you can at least still go push play, and that's what's great. Or drop the needle.
Yeah, and I mean, you brought up that one track, one mic, one recording. I got to see a band. They're folky band. They're called the Lone Bellow, and they played in a church in New Jersey and had one mic. They all had their instruments, and they all sang into one mic, and just the sound. And I think that's the last time I cried at a live show.
Wow.
Like it was one of the most, the Lone Bellow. Okay, it's two guys and a girl. And I literally at one point, it was just seeing them and how it was working. And all of a sudden, my wife looked over at me. She's like, "Are you crying?" I said, "Don't look at me. I have something in my eye." And then I look at her and she's crying too. And I was just like, fuck. And it was just the music, and it was beautiful. And it was one microphone in front of them, and you heard their instruments, but the way it echoed in the church, and like, I don't go to churches to watch music.
Yeah.
But that's where it was. It was a venue, and it was one of the most beautiful things. And like to think back, like, and they did it on purpose with one microphone in front of them, like one old school mic. And it was just like, it was the most beautiful thing. That's the last time I cried at a show. Yeah. So that I'll remember.
That's amazing. Like, I love that. I mean, and only a few bands can do that. I bet you Band of Horses could do that.
Yeah.
I bet you they can make you cry with one mic and just acoustics. God, I'm sorry. I just thought about that. That band's amazing too. I love like that stuff though, because that reminds me of like, the old bluegrass and the old country and the old blues, like it's just, it's something about it, because at that point, especially early on with recordings or like being live on stage, that's as raw as you get. That is as straightforward and playing like what's moving you is those people, that song, and the way they're delivering it. There's no There's no there's no coloring on top. This is it.
Yeah,
And
that's the way that the music was intended to be heard,
yes.
for that moment. At that same place, it's a nonprofit organization here. It's called Outpost at the Burbs, and they bring in people, and it's a lot of folkier music or singer songwriter. But I don't know if you ever heard of the Milk Carton Kids. They're
What is I
they're
think
called
I've heard of them.
so they're kind of like a Simon and Garfunkel. They're actually really funny guys too. Like they put a little humor into their musicianship, but they played there as well, and they literally got off the stage and stood in the middle of the church just playing, one with a mandolin and another guy with his acoustic guitar just singing. And it was like, I'm like, there's no microphones, no nothing, and I'm just like, it was absolutely amazing. I didn't cry at that one, but I just stood there like,
Yeah.
this is what music does. You can do anything with it, but there's certain moments that it just hits.
Churches also sound beautiful. Like, I mean, when I've seen bands in churches, we played a couple of churches over time, and it's just, I don't know what it is about churches. They're just, God, they have a good sound.
Yeah, and
Like,
the acoustics are fucking
it's
amazing.
amazing. Yeah, I'd do a church tour if you know they probably wouldn't want us though.
Yeah, if they let you in.
If they let us in.
All right, so let's bring some stuff into this. We're talking about crying. We're talking about, so world's going to end in 5 minutes. Meteor, you can see it coming. 5 minutes. You got one song to listen to. What song do you listen to?
Oh shit, that's a good question, man. Fuck. Oh, that's common, man. Hold on. There's like 10 songs running through my hands right now. Running through my mind. Sorry. I'm like, damn, man, that's good.
If you got 10, first one that came to mind.
The first one that came to mind.
Something by Drake.
Something by Drake. No. No. Probably Andrew Bird Can Sing by the Beatles. Just so I can hear that George Harrison riff one more time.
Good answer.
I mean, that guitar riff is sick. And their harmonies are great. Anything off of Clarity by Jimmy Eat World. Like literally anything.
Yeah. The quintessential fucking emo album. The best, I would say, best 3-album run out of a band that I've ever had the pleasure of having in my life.
Yeah. And they're still putting out banger records. I mean, Surviving's an amazing album. But yeah, great band. Yeah, I mean, God, it's so hard. Best Defense by Face to Face. Be another one.
All right. Well, you only got 5 minutes, so you got
I'll stick with the Beatles.
All right. I brought up Drake before, but is jokingly, but is there something that you listen to? People call it guilty pleasures, and I know we're at the point in our life where you don't give a fuck what you listen to, but there's still that moment where if someone walked in on you listening to something, you would like be a little scared that they heard you listening to it. So like a guilty pleasure. Is there something that
hands listen down to right now? I'll tell you the last 2 Taylor Swift records because the dudes from the National are putting that.
Well, yes. I watched the Disney documentary on folklore. It was awesome.
Well, I'm a huge National fan too, and I'm just like, God, man, because like right there, hands down, that would be it. I mean, just so I can hear the freaking music underneath, it's amazing.
Seth Robinson, Swiftie, who knew?
Yeah. Hey, man. Oh, you know what? I'll give you this. You know, a band that everybody loves that I just can't get, and I get chastised for it all the time is fucking ABBA. I'm sorry. Sorry to Dave Grohl. I'm sorry to everybody that loves ABBA. I don't hate them, but I just don't get it.
Listen, I don't know why you're apologizing to me because I don't fucking get it either. And I don't know why. Listen, we had a long Hall of Fame episode here of bands that like are in that shouldn't be, bands that aren't in. It's crazy to think that like the big year ABBA went in. Like that was the big announcement to go into. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me with this right now? These Swedish fucks who like what is this? This is not music.
Did you watch the documentary of like the Swedes? They were hit makers for America though. Hit makers in the 70s and 80s and 90s. They did like if I'm not mistaken, they did like Britney Spears songs. They did I can't remember the 80s ones right now. They did helped out with the boy band boom, everything. All out of Sweden. Like that company that's over there that did like that ABBA's a part of and all that. I mean, they're just as loaded as whatever because they have like hits after hits after hits. It's like I
don't know how they're hits though.
That's a study for everybody right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. So ABBA, we have it on the jukebox at MAG, and when it comes on, you see metalheads, you see punks, you see just your after work, everyday people just dancing their asses off, loving it. And I'm over here just like, what the fuck? I don't get this. I get that it's catchy. I get it, I guess. But yeah, that would be a band that I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like,
yeah, I mean,
fire me. Everybody fire me because they give me shit all the time.
Yeah, and listen, if I'm going to be honest, I did make a CD for everyone at my wedding, and the closing song was Dancing Queen, but it wasn't by ABBA. It was Luca Bloom doing Dancing Queen, which is a great version of the song.
Oh, I'm sure. Hey, I've heard covers of songs where I'm like, yo, that's sick. It should have been done this way in the first place.
Yeah.
But, who am I to say? Yeah. They're the ones with the money, right?
Yeah. I'm just here fucking judging them.
Yeah.
While they're in their ivory tower pointing their finger at me. Judge all you want, asshole.
Yeah, you take your ABBA. I'm going to take my super chunk over here and have a good time.
Yeah.
They're my posies.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'll go on for days. I'm staring at stuff in front of me that I'm like, fuck, I haven't listened to that in a long time. And I'm just like, all right. When I'm done here, I'm going to listen to some Very Secretary. Right next to the Christie Front Drive album. Like I'm going.
God, Christie Front Drive. Yeah. Jesus Christ. One of the best bands ever.
Two of my favorite times in my life were getting to see them perform live. So
never saw them. Would love to see them.
Yeah.
I just have to wait until like Jimmy Eat World brings them back out for whatever union or whatever record they're playing front to back.
Yeah. So I've kept you here long enough. I can't thank you enough for being here, Seth.
I appreciate it too, man.
Right now, if you could, why don't you throw out all your handles so everyone knows how to find what you guys are doing before I move on to our last question.
If you can look for us, anything with Nowhere Fast Music. It's nowherefastmusic.com. Facebook would be Nowhere Fast Music. Instagram's Nowhere Fast Music. Spotify, Apple Music, all of it's Nowhere Fast Music. That's the URL you want to punch in. That way you don't bring up a bunch of Smiths and Incubus songs or Eminem. The Smiths I'm with. I mean, come on. Johnny Marr's an influence. So I'm like, cool. And hate Moz all you want. The Smiths were great. But yeah, Nowhere Fast Music.
Awesome. So last question of the day. We're on to our weekly 3 segment. 3 things you're listening to right now that you'd like people to check out.
Ooh. Let's see. Well, the Smiths, because I just went back down that discography. Which, there's got to be somebody out there that hasn't checked them out, right?
Yeah.
Say them. Some friends. Can I give 4? Because
go ahead.
These bands, Next Scars, you need to check them out, and American Thrills, you need to check them out. And then outside of that, my constant has been Band of Horses lately. So
nice.
Getting ready for that new record.
Yeah. Good 3.
Oh yeah.
Meaning 4. You're lucky.
Meaning
let
4,
you have it. Yeah.
Hey, I had to throw some homies out there. So.
All good. My three for this week. One is Thief Club, side project of Nick Thompson of Hit the Lights. Very pop
Okay.
punk rock. Name of the album's called Split.
Okay.
Another band called Hikes, out of Austin, Texas. Their indie rock, math rockish album is called Friends.
All right.
And last but not least, because these are in no particular order, they're just things I'm listening to. Glass House Point from Florida. I'll throw them under the alt rock. Name of their EP is Midnight Appetite.
Ooh, I'm gonna check that out for sure. Yeah, I named what I've been listening to. Also, I listen to new stuff, but
Yeah, no, listen, I've had people, on here. I've that unfortunately I was stuck and had three bands that were huge, but that's what I listened to that week. So that's what I had to throw.
Yeah, I rotated out each week too. Like lately, I've been going down. Like I know Smiths, I love the Smiths, but like I hadn't listened to Smiths in quite some time, and I was like, when's the last time that I just dove through all their studio records? So I listened to the first record through the fourth record.
Yeah, but I love going back to that, and that's why I have all my music surrounding me, and just like sitting here staring, and I'm not kidding. I'm like, fuck, I haven't listened to that to a long time. On
I do the same.
And I'm just like, looks like I'm going to listen to that. So that's just what I do, and that's what I listen to, and that's what I like at that moment. That's my week. That's what I get to. That's my little bit of enjoyment I have, is to listen to something.
Yes, same. Same.
But Seth, thank you so much for being here. This has been absolutely awesome. Huge fan. Can't wait to see you perform live when things get back to some sense of normalcy.
We'll be announcing dates. We'll be up by you at some point this year. Fingers crossed everything stays calm.
Awesome. But everybody out there, thanks, Seth, for being here. And you know what to do next. Go out, listen to Nowhere Fast, and have a great fucking time.
Bye.
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.